Right. That is back. Yeah. Shanghai's gone live. FTX 2.0 is about to open. Sushi got hacked. AAVE's just been hacked. Sailors in the green. Where do we even start? Should we start with Shanghai?
Yeah, it was as much of a nothing burger as it's as much of a nothing burger as Polygon's ZK EVM, right?
Oh god, that thing. Does it even work?
No, I haven't seen them post it on Twitter recently, so maybe it's just flying low under the radar.
Yeah, there's let me see if I can bring some of the Shanghai stats up because right, where they are. Because there's a Nansen dashboard. Can you see this? The Nansen dashboard.
Oh, I see Tapioca.
All will be revealed. So Nansen have created this dashboard, which is really, really good. It gives it a kind of brief overview of what's actually happening. So Shanghai, in brackets, the Shapella upgrade. The Shanghai upgrade combines changes to the Ethereum execution layer, which is the Shanghai upgrade, and the consensus layer, which is the Shapella upgrade. So TLDR of it is ETH stakers that have been locked up for a while can now withdraw, and they can withdraw their rewards as well. So definitely seeing some net outflows or even queues to leave. But just as of 2 hours ago, this takes a little while to update, but 18.17 million ETH staked, been a minus 65,518 ETH removed. That's only active of 2 hours ago. And this kind of ETH deposits and withdrawals, and this little blue line's our cumulative sum. So this is more interesting to me. So ETH waiting for the full exit, 704,802 ETH. And then validators waiting for full exits of 90,633 validators out of 567,207. So yeah, any thoughts on that before I get into some of the really juicy bits at the bottom of this?
So you're saying we should start to panic because that chart looks like a one-way ticket to Goblin Town right now. We should be peppering our shorts.
I don't think so, but the data below shows why. I think that's really important to get into. Jerry, what do you think? Prepare me there.
Goblin Town.
Okay, so at the start of the stream, we were chatting about how the market seems to do exactly the opposite of what logic would dictate. Logic dictates that a whole lot of ETH has been locked up. We've seen with project launches, with interested parties within projects come in and then immediately exit below their purchase price, which means that people really are craving that next opportunity from what it is that I've seen, right? And from a logical perspective, I would assume, based on what we've seen over the last couple of months, that I'm underwater. I've been in this thing for the last however long I've been in this thing. I really need liquidity. I really need funds. I'm going to sell it. Fuck it. I don't care if it's a deflationary asset. I don't care whether it's got all of these amazing qualities. So I would assume that we would see a dump, but because he knows that I know that he knows, then obviously the opposite is going to happen, which means that we aren't going to see a dump and people are just going to buy it and it's going to go to fucking 7,500.
Hey, 7,500. Are you telling me to go balls deep long and buy?
Logic gets you killed, doesn't it? In this space, it's like
so
2 plus 2 equals fucking tractor. You know what I mean? It makes absolutely no sense.
Are we buying tractor coin as well? Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard so much alpha. Ethereum is going to 7,500 and we're all about to buy tractor.
So this is interesting, right? When you scroll down, section 1, ETH deposits. So it says 24-hour change in staked ETH, 0.3. As I said, it needs to update. That was of 2 hours ago. So we're still waiting on that to come in. shows here your ETH depositors. Obviously, we know Lido owns like 31% of the share. We've commented on this a few times in the past couple of streams, is that Lido withdrawals don't go live till like middle of May because their contracts weren't actually ready for Shanghai, which I don't know was intentional, but you can put your tinfoil hat on there. So yeah, it also shows the average price of ETH staked. It's like 1963. Again, just re-shows this withdrawals and deposits. This does seem like it's slowing down a little bit and tapering off, but we'll have to see how it plays out. As we've mentioned again on previous shows, there is like a queuing system to get in and get out, so it's not all immediately unlocked. So this little table here, and any of these kind of links, we're going to just drop a Google Doc in the bottom if anyone wants to take a look and go and have a look for themselves. Top addresses deposit in ETH, obviously ETH staker and Lido at the top there. So this is the interesting one for me, Kraken. So first deposit 3rd of December 2020, average price 1870, and total ETH stake 926,688 ETH, right? But remember back a couple of weeks back, they got kind of targeted by the SEC to remove the liquid staking product. So this is quite interesting. This is quite telling. Huobi have got the largest amount of ETH withdrawable. Kraken aren't far down, but they're obviously going to have to because they're going to have to make their product redundant. And so this note here is quite interesting as well. Only validators that have provided 0x01 credentials can process full or partial withdrawals. Thus, tracking the number of validators with 0x01 credentials allows us to track the number of validators waiting for withdrawals. So, based on that criteria, you've got 267,907,000 eligible, so they've got this 0x01 address, and then 721,549 that aren't. They haven't even processed to actually get the withdrawal address, so quite telling. Yeah, any thoughts on that?
Grant, is there an indication as to whether there are less validators now in light of this? Because obviously we can see the unstaking, but maybe there's unstaking, but there's other validators coming in, which kind of compensates. Is there any indication as to, because we're seeing validators waiting for full exit, can we see validators before versus validators now and expected validators going into the future?
Let me see if I think this HillW dashboard might show it. Let's have a look at this now. So yeah, so distinct depositors. That might not show it actually. I don't think I can find it directly off here, and I definitely haven't got it in the notes. But as you say,
I think it's a little bit early to get into that aspect of it, but I think that would be like quite an interesting one
to take a look at. Yeah, absolutely.
Are the validators remaining within 5 percentile or 2 percentile or 10 percentile or whatever the case is? And then if that's the case, then it essentially is a nothing burger. And you can assume that you won't really see much of an offload of ETH from guys underwater, or even guys that are break even, and obviously guys that are in profit, because you'd assume that the guys that are in profit would say, you know what, it's been a good run, I've earned my yield, I've got my profit, let me get out. But once again, logic just doesn't prevail.
But I think those really early guys, they're the ones who, they believed, because they bought Ethereum at like what, $20 or whatever, and they've literally ridden it up to the top, staked it, they've got all their rewards. I think these are the guys that you can almost like judge it against, because I'd be interested to see if they now start, of which validators start to accumulate now that they can, now that more ETH comes onto market.
Yeah, what's interesting to track is the ETH staking participation, because I I think we've touched upon it previously, but I think if people know that they can redeem within like a day or two, and they can get the underlying for maybe their liquid staking token or whatever, you could imagine, because there isn't that kind of time duration risk, that people are more than likely going to participate in staking. So you're probably going to see ETH staking participation go up. If the network transactions and usage stays the same, then you could expect yield to drop slightly. Did we cover Pendle last week? Because I think that's quite interesting to bring into it. I'm just trying to look for these kind of picks and shovels players where if it's going to be completely mental, and kind of the opinion now that these liquid staking providers are going to try and be like the staked ETH and the Rockepool ETH are going to try and start incentivizing liquidity on the likes of your balances and Curve and Uniswap, and maybe using Timeless and stuff like that to incentivize liquidity and try and get staked ETH and Rockepool ETH into as many base pairs as possible. So you might start seeing staked ETH USDC, for example, or Rockepool ETH DAI, or Frax ETH and whatever token, just to get increased utility, additional yield, and then start to kind of use additional LP pairs to drum up more utility for the underlying liquid staking tokens. There is a Frax governance proposal, which I don't have up at the minute, but it's effectively saying that they should be incentivizing Frax ETH and like a whole series of other pools. So as I say, I'm trying to look for like these picks and shovels players that are gonna soak up a lot of the kind of product market fit around liquid staking tokens. I don't think necessarily direct exposure to them is I think it's a little bit priced in. I think there's going to be a lot of emissions getting thrown all over. But stuff like Pendle and Flash Stake and speculating on future yield and present yield, stuff like that, I think is really, really interesting. So, but yeah.
So Grant, in terms of Shanghai, there is an increase in the yield that this whole process generates. Is that correct? Just by the very function of what it is that they've done. Do you understand the mechanism behind that?
Yeah, the yield's just derived from the validating and processing transactions. So,
cool.
But you've got to think, like Rockepool have got this good example. I think they call it the smooth pool.
Yeah,
if I can bring it up, because it's really well illustrated on their site. So with the Rockepool pools, you can choose to opt in or opt out of the smooth pool. So if you're like, and they call it the lottery block, right? So if your validator actually processes like, say, I don't know, 1,000 ETH block, and you get that 1,000 ETH reward, what Rockepool actually allow you to do, and hence why it's called the fucking lottery block. And someone won like a 400 ETH one the other day. So this is the smoothing pool. So basically you can opt in and opt out of that, right? So opting out says, yeah, I'm on my own. I'll eat what I catch effectively. Or you can opt in to the smoothing pool. And that basically says, right, this is a kitty. Whoever's opted in, whoever earns so we've obviously got more people likely to earn the validation rewards, and then that gets shared by everyone in the pool proportionally to how much they've got staked, right? So you can be a complete degen and probably not earn any fees whatsoever, and then hopefully one day you get like this lottery block. But for me personally, I'd probably just opt in at the smoothing pool. So again, it's based on active transactions going through the network, how much people are prioritizing, how much fees people are willing to pay, and then participation on the network as well. Because obviously, if there was like 30 validators as opposed to like 500,000, then that you get the lion's share of the reward split that way. So that's about it, I think.
I mean, what I really love about this is that you are getting, a true reflection of like a decentralized profit sharing model. It's like if you're providing a fundamental service, which is a validator, you will then earn the percentage of the fees that come in, which people don't really like consider. It's not just this like magic internet money button. There's actually shit that's going on here, and you are providing, if you are opting to do this, you are providing an infrastructural benefit to the network, and then you get to earn those fees. So if you're wondering what the fuck we're talking about, this is what it is. It's like it's not just shit in the ether. It's like there is something that's happening here, and validators are huge. Nodes are huge. All this kind of stuff is overlooked by so many people because they're all chasing charts, but the real money is, like you said, let's look at the picks and the spades and who's actually allowing for this stuff to happen. And 9 times out of 10, that's where the money gets made. That's where the real money gets made.
Yeah, and it's effectively like the de facto base interest rate in crypto and DeFi now, isn't it? It's like the purest form of yield in crypto, isn't it? And that's kind of I think that's going to get taken forward as the benchmark. It's like, would you go on risk for 6% when you can just get 4% staking on ETH? Like, it doesn't necessarily make any sense, does it?
It'd be interesting to see what happens with all these validators when I think it's what's the next part that I had up a minute ago? So basically, the next part of like this whole upgrade that Vitalik's doing is going to help bring transaction costs down on the network. Be interesting to see how much that impacts validators, because you obviously remember in the bull run when we were all like spending like $500 on like gas fees and such. If that comes down to like peanuts, like on Arbitrum, where it's like, I know, a couple of pennies, would be very, very interesting to see how many validators stay for like the long term, because I'm sure there's going to be other ways of doing it, unless that's where LSD really comes into play, because you can stake it, secure the network, get some peanuts or whatever from that, and then go and use your Ethereum somewhere else. That might be the play.
Yeah, like you could, like if you're staking through Rockepool or you're staking through Lido, I can imagine there's going to be more that come on to the scene because it's it's crypto and these things happen. But I don't know, like even I know we touched upon Tapioca and we'll get into it later, but I can imagine they're going to have a staked ETH and Rockepool ETH borrow market, so you could deposit your Rockepool ETH or staked ETH in there, it's earning like 4 or 5% over the course of the year. You borrow USD 0 against it, maybe that costs you 1% a year. So effectively, over like a long enough duration, the yield you're earning from your staked ETH and your Rockepool ETH is paying down your borrow. So it's effectively like a self-repaying loan in that sense. So there's 1,000,001 ways to do it. This is really interesting. This is really telling. So what we're looking at here is the basic Pendle markets. So this is saying for staked ETH, obviously the Lido provider, over a maturity of 76 days, so over the next 76 days, the underlying APY on staked ETH at the minute is 4.93. The market is pricing in that in 76 days, the underlying APY is actually only going to be 4.54. So it's saying that staked ETH rewards actually going to drop over like the next 76 days. So, and this is also true of the longer maturities for staked ETH. So 622 days, it's saying the current is 4.93, and the market's pricing in that the staked ETH rewards over the next 622 days are actually going to drop to 3.78. And then if you go further and further out, it actually drops down a little bit further to 3.72. So that kind of goes back to what we've just been saying. Does network participation, network staking participation increase? So there's less rewards to go around, there's less kind of average implied yield. So these are really, really interesting to take note of. And you can actually, what would be a really good tactic if you were just going to hold staked ETH regardless, and you were kind of also expecting the yield to drop from the 4.93 now to the 3.78, you could effectively lock in that price, but you're going to have to hold that staked ETH in Pendle for the remaining 622 days, and then you've effectively locked in a whatever the spread between these is, so the 19.4%. So it's kind of a fixed way to get yield. really interesting, some really interesting strategies to go about doing this. But these are good markets to kind of let the market speculate on where the future yield of the ETH will be across staked ETH, Frax ETH. So they're all pricing in that they're going to come down. So really interesting. Anything else on Shanghai, gents?
Oh yeah, I think we just let it play out, for the next like 24 hours at least.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, aren't we? So maybe we have a little brief look at the chart, right? What's that saying?
It's looking good, actually.
Yeah.
Kamikaze will be furious.
He's calling it to the 16th. He's saying, well, I'll wait till the 16th before I admit I'm wrong.
He's turning to plan B.
I actually think he's worse than plan B. I mean, the grift that plan B is running is way more elaborate and way more like sinister. But yeah, I mean, Kamikaze's just completely become a meme now, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. So what about this Bitcoin thing that people are talking about? Sailors in the green.
Bitcoin is going to do what it does. I personally think that, and hold on to your horses, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to be bullish on Bitcoin. So this could be the top. So I'm just warning you, because if you counter trade me, you're pretty much guaranteed success, especially in a bear market. Listen, I think what's really interesting about Bitcoin when it does what it's doing at the moment is that it basically just it shatters everyone's concept of what it should be doing. Like everyone's calling this the top now. I mean, we've spoken to people who have made calls that it's going to go to 30 and then go back down. When it does this kind of stuff, I'm inclined to think that it's just going to carry on going because it seems to just want to do that. We had this whole idea that like the 29 to 30 was like a major resistance zone, and it just went straight through it, and now it's consolidating. In my opinion, it should have rejected and gone straight back down to 28, 25, and it didn't.
You got to think this is a very key area here. It's like 31-ish.
There's this whole band.
A lot of previous activity. Yeah.
There's this whole band from 30 to 32 but it's not rejecting. It's actually consolidating, and I think that it's going to land up continuing with its current fuck you strategy.
Yeah, what was interesting is in a Discord last night, and one of the guys was so he had what's that aggregated chart that we look at that has all the ticks you can do over a minute, and you've got all like the ticks of all the sells and buys up the side. What's that called? I've forgotten the name. That's it, that one. Yeah, Aggie trade, because when you watch the minute chart, you just like prang out. But it was interesting. It was saying that like Kraken, every time the price got to 30,400, they were clipping bags, and there was somebody on that was selling. I think it was from Bitfinex as well. When it got to a certain price, they clip out the exact same amount. So it's interesting to see that this is now becoming such a strong area of resistance. Maybe you're going to be right, Jedi. There we go, Charles. Maybe you're going to be right on this one, dude. Maybe this is the top until it's not the top.
It's the top until it isn't.
I've seen this movie before where there's like all this TA to support that we're at the top, blah blah blah, and it's like Bitcoin just like, and the market just says no, this is not the top, and there's still a whole lot of business that needs to be done here, and it just continues going. Irrespective of whether we're in a bear market rally, irrespective of, I mean, we break the 32,000. I mean, you drew a really nice line at 31, 32, Grant. It breaks through that, and it's like this whole bear market rally narrative goes out the window, and then we like seriously looking at
all-time highs,
a full-on bull market in the making. And, a lot of guys, listen, like Dewbacker, one of our community members and longtime friends, he's really like made some good calls the last 3 months. And he's saying, what, Bitcoin's probably going to consolidate here for a while, and we're going to have like a solid alt run. So if you go and look at the ETH BTC chart, there's a very good indication that maybe that's what could be kind of like chapter 2 of this book. And it doesn't stop at chapter 2. We might end up getting another BTC run.
And do you remember that like alt season chart that I think it was Blockchain Center did ages ago? It's where I got a load of like the data for like Michael Saylor's bag. Like it is still, according to that, and like all the on-chain data, it's still Bitcoin season right now. There is no like big indication that alts are going to run.
Have you seen this dashboard?
Just go to the daily on the ETH BTC, please, sir.
Ooh.
I tell you what, I shouldn't have loaded that chart up. Oh my god.
Is that the daily? Okay, so it did show some movement, and then it seems like it slowed down into today.
It's not bad though.
No, dude. I think there's right now, the way that I'm seeing this thing play out is I'm not actually seeing Bitcoin going into Hades. I'm actually seeing it either consolidating here and for alts to run, or for it to just say, hold on, alts, I just want to continue going.
Well, what did it reminds me of very, very early 2019. Like you wake up, you see Bitcoin ripping, you go and check your alt bags, and like nothing's happened. It's like around this kind of region. Hopefully we don't get the black swan and stuff like that. But
I think a really good reference point here as well is Solana and what Solana's doing. Kind of like this black sheep, the most hated token on crypto planet. Yet it's really kicking ass right now, and it's saying, hold on a second, I have a place here. I'm going to claim that place, and I actually think it's going to do really well in the next couple of months.
My long's like that.
Because this is what happens when you mix TA with like technical analysis with like fundamental analysis. Like Solana's got some actual cool stuff going on. They're releasing like the mobile phone today. I'm definitely not going to switch my Nokia 3310 for it, but still. But like this is what happens. This is what happens when the chart looks good and like people don't know what's going on at the external. They're like, okay, this is good buy point, good sell point, whatever. Then you add in like bullish news that's actually going to be bullish for it, not just like, hey, so-and-so coin is partnered with Amazon. Yeah, okay, cool, bull run, that would have pumped, but now it's slightly different. I think that's why this is going to have like a real good run now. And then if people keep building as well.
Yeah, because exactly right what you just said. It's you want to be looking where everyone else isn't. And what's great about it is because people have kind of posted so much about their allegiances, like they hate Sol or they like Sol. They look like a dick if they were to ever like buy into a position. So you kind of get that allowing yourself to just be completely non-biased about it. Obviously, we like Solana. Well, I do anyway. I like ETH. I'm not kind of dogmatic about anything. So you do get to kind of see things happening before the masses like kind of clock onto it. And it's one of those coins where if it starts running, it's one of those that cuts through to like traditional kind of market outlets. So you start seeing it on Bloomberg and like all the traditional kind of finance guys start talking about it because they've all got a vested interest and stuff. So, and we all know Corp is the biggest fueler of any rally. So the more people hate on it, the higher it goes.
I mean, you're saying about Cope now, the Arbitrum, ARB token's up 4%, back up to $1.24.
Listen, I think right now, if you've got coin and you've got time on your hands with that coin, you honestly can't go wrong if you picked the 10 most voluminous coins that have come through over the last 3 months. Pick them, any 3, any 10, any 20, and you just spread your risk across those. I honestly don't think that you could go wrong. And no, it's not financial advice. I'm just thinking out loud here, and it's like it just makes sense that you and all you got to do is just sit and be patient, because if there's a time to be patient, now's the time, and to not get caught up in these like small moves that happen.
Here we go.
If it dumps, it dumps, dude. You have your stop loss, you call it. You know what I mean? It's like that's just the risk that you have to take.
You just made a really good point. Like, the time to be patient is now, because if we're getting towards the middle of April and everyone is just like selling May and then go away, surely like the next theoretical buying opportunity would be in about 3 or 4 weeks time, rather than this, like, because the way logic should work is we should rally towards the end of the month or just before it. Everybody sells and then, you know, fluffs off for a while, comes down, and then, you know, get that Christmas rally. So you're actually, you're right. Be patient.
Yeah, it lines up quite well with the usually the pre-rally before the halving as well. So this is another one flying under the radar, which is looking good. And yes, I did have a long open. All right, kill me.
I mean, even if you market bought $18.47 on Avalanche, just logically, what is potentially the downside on this thing? You know, what is the lowest point? What is the lowest price that this thing has reached in the last?
Well, look at the range. Look at the range it's been in for. Yeah, as you said, like 6 months. Downside,
you know,
$10.
This, in my opinion, just looking at this chart right now, if I had any sense, I would actually go and buy myself a fair size bag of this. I mean, we know that Messi has. We know that Messi's bought a ton of this. He made it very obvious. He said it on his private Twitter account. He said, "Listen, I've bought a big bag of this, and I have bought on several occasions." Why? Because the upside on this thing is just ridiculous.
Nah, bro. So if you watch his various different wallets, like, he's liquidity pooling this, and I bet you he is just there watching all the degens like swapping in and out, and he's just like, yeah, look at the pool, baby, look at the pool.
Totally.
They've got the Avalanche summit coming up as well, haven't they? So
yeah,
projects like to rally into.
No, it's next week, isn't it?
Is it next week?
Next week, I think. Yeah, I think.
No,
I wish I was going.
Early May, isn't it? Early May, like 3 to 5.
Week after. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, moving on with that. So, have you seen this dashboard before? MicroStrategy crypto portfolio.
Please show us.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is Saylor's bags. It just tracks every buy and every kind of sell. So block.
So how much underwater is he at the moment?
No, he's in the green. 16 million. So his buy price, his average buy price is 29,803, I think.
Okay.
And what's strange is, where's my Bitcoin chart? Sorry, I'll tidy this up in a sec. But 29,804, it just keeps bouncing off.
So he's now the new support. You made that comment in Twitter and I giggled, but it looks like exactly that. He's the new support.
Yeah.
How big are his bags? Full bull.
Pocket change.
But you do realize, like, if he'd have bought Ethereum, his bag right now would be worth just over 7 billion. And if he'd have staked it, he'd have earned over 300,000 Ethereum in rewards, which is over $500 million. So his bag, if he was an Ethereum maxi and he switched from Bitcoin to Ethereum, would have been 7.6 to 7.7 billion. Like, that is the epitome of, like, somebody who is a diamond handing all the way into denial. That's what happened here. That is what Saylor has done.
Fucking hell.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have just presented case study for not subscribing to being a Bitcoin maxi.
Yeah, his all-time high AUM was 7.67 billion. So yeah, he could be already back at those heights with deploying like several billion or whatever he's put over. But yeah, he's up 0.48% see it just flicks over. Like it's just like having millions and millions of dollars swinging every second.
Dude, could you imagine though? Could you imagine like you see a 7 point whatever bajillion bag at the peak and then see like a 2 bajillion bag at the bottom? Could you imagine in the space of like 4 months losing $5 billion, even though it's like paper losses? 5 billion, mate. I can't even. That's incomprehensible.
Yeah, but it's like what the it's like what the FTX guys were saying. You either make a load of money, or you just the only downside is you lose money. So it's like that's the worst thing that could happen. It's they think in different ways. Right, enough of that. A good segue. I don't really know what the fuck's going on here with this FTX thing. They say they've recovered another like 800 million, taking it up to 7.6 billion. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know how bullshit it is, because we looked at the assets on the balance sheet last time and all of it was like maps and Oxy and stuff like that. So, and I don't want to give people false hope, but Bloomberg are reporting it, the Block are reporting it. Funds need to restart the exchange could come from third parties willing to invest in the project, or FTX could use some of the 7.3 billion worth of cash, crypto and other assets it has collected so far, he said. The money's been held until FTX wins final court approval for creditors' payout plan, something that is unlikely until next year. So this shitstorm just continues. Reuters are reporting exactly the same, but there's not
a very important announcement to make. Arbitrum is running as we speak.
Man, I just said that for like 5 minutes ago. What are we talking about?
No, it's like proper now. Not you announced the fake out. Now it's doing it proper.
Mate, we're talking about. Mate, I announced it at like $1.24. It's now $1.25. It's gone up by like 0.006 of the fucking percent. It is literally about to hit the. It's on route to hit 126. It's wick. I promise you, that's just gonna go like pum pum. Unless
what's it gonna do?
It's gonna go pum pum.
What does that actually mean?
Mate, it's gonna go pum pum.
What's that pump meme where it's like whoosh?
Mate, but like honestly, like if you read some of like the governance stuff for Arbitrum, it's actually getting quite bullish, because if they pass 1.05, then they got to put all the 700 million tokens back. They've got to then market buy $10 bajillion worth of tokens again, and then there you go. So if you go to like 1.05, because if 1.05 passes first, they can't pass 1.1.
Fucking decimals.
I don't know, dude. It took me like 3 hours to work it all out.
Buyback ARB via went to mute. 10 million OTC sell. So,
but then also disclose the terms of the market making deal with Wintermute. Now that's going to be interesting. And then pause 1.1 and 1.2. So these people that are pumping the chart right now might know something.
We're going to do a how market makers get token deals article with Arrakis. Bit of alpha.
We actually met with a market maker last week, which was quite an interesting meeting. And there is a great story to be told in that. I look forward to actually getting into that side of things, because it's really interesting how you incentivize market makers from a project perspective. But just onto FTX, just go back to this thing here. The fact that they even had the audacity to say that in the second part of this year, they would probably want to relaunch FTX. Seriously, they need to go and fuck themselves. This has been one of the worst things that has ever happened in crypto, in the entire history of crypto. Mt. Gox, all of these things that have happened over the last 13 years have got nothing on what FTX presented to us. Now they want to fucking relaunch this thing. If anyone supports these guys, they really deserve all the bad things that are coming to them, because these guys, come on, man. They need to just fuck off. We don't need
You know what's interesting, though? Like, Sam and the whole FTX thing, like, people had started to forget it. And it's like he became like old news. And all of a sudden, when he realizes he's become old news, he suddenly finds $4 billion down the sofa. Like, what are the chances of that?
Have you read this? Like, it's fucking mind blowing. So, despite I won't read the topic because it'll take too long. People get bored. So, the debtors identified private keys worth over 100 million in Ethereum assets stored in a plain text and without encryption on an FTX group server. The debtors identified private keys as well as credentials to third-party exchanges that enabled access to tens of millions of dollars in crypto assets that were to be stored in plain text without encryption across multiple servers, from which could be accessed by many other servers and many other users in different locations. Single signature-based private keys to billions of dollars in crypto assets were stored in AWS Secret Manager, a cloud-based tool to manage sensitive information, and/or Password Vault tool, a tool to secure passwords, neither of which is designed to meet the needs for secure key storage. For example, a key for $600 million worth of crypto assets was titled with 4 non-descriptive words and stored with no information about what the key was for or who might have relevant information about it. The debtors identified other keys to millions of dollars of crypto assets that were simply titled, use this or do not use this, without further context.
I have no words, honestly. I rest my case.
Oh my god. Fuck me. What can you even say to that shit?
Actually,
use this. Do not. You have to
there's
laugh.
very limited.
Fucking feel bad for anyone who lost money, but Jesus fucking Christ, this is absolutely mental.
You see, we're in complete disbelief. We haven't said anything for almost a minute because of that. Now they want to entertain the idea and get people to buy into the fact that they want to launch this thing again. First of all, let's look at what the assets are that you've discovered on the side of your couch or under your couch. They are illiquid shitcoins that you guys fucking printed out of thin air, and now you want us to believe that these assets are actually something that we can put into an accounting platform and actually derive some kind of value out of. Just kindly fuck off. Seriously.
You think we're going to get Solana season now?
They've pumped. Did you see FTT went?
I saw FTT, but maybe the broader ecosystem. Pump the DJ8. Let's go.
I don't think maps will still be trading anywhere, but oh yeah, of course it's on Gate.io. Oh god, that's a horrible chart.
Is Serum still a thing?
No. How can it be?
No, well, the Solana community forked it because they were worried about stuff like this happening, where there was just private keys and signatures hanging around to no one. So they forked it because they knew Alameda had some kind of key access to it. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, Maps is pumped, Oxy and shit like that's pumped as well. But there's absolutely no way I'd be touching anything like that.
I honestly think the best thing that can happen with this whole FTX thing is that everything that they ever touched, everything that they were ever involved in, needs to be buried in a very deep grave, and it needs to be left there, and maybe even bring some concrete in, and just let's forget about these guys, because they really have zero to offer in any capacity besides paying people back the money that they owe, and then they need to simply just fuck off.
You see, they rugged Ren yesterday. They absolutely rugged Ren protocol.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how much of the assets are now recovered because the underlying assets have increased in price? So are they marking?
Convenient.
I bet you they went long on Sol at $7. I bet you they pushed it down and then went just balls deep in 100x long until now.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Anyway, let's stop giving these clowns. Speaking of clowns,
here we go.
With Pool Party.
These guys, really.
So Pool party was like this donation event where it raised $2 million. I think was it 2 million, maybe 10 million. Let me just find that out so I get it correct. But effectively, what's happened is team tokens were sold on, like a portion of the team tokens were sold on day 2. Which, like, if anyone else had done this, like there'd be like, and there has been backlash, but if anyone else had done this, there'd have been picks and shovels. Like they're coming for that. What's he called, Moshi now, because he wrote about a project that rugged. Whilst there's a project like just effectively dumped 2.5 million on, or 20% of their team tokens on like the people who've bought into the project. Like something doesn't like align up, and it seems to be like certain circles, like particularly OG circles, where they're just like, oh well, we'll just kind of sweep that under the rug. We won't say too much about that. But if it was anyone else, then there'd be fucking hell to pay, and it stinks, to be fair. Any thoughts on it?
But this is something that just keeps on happening. Is that it's fine. It's kind of like it's fine if we rug people and scam people because we're going to make a whole lot of money and it'll be great. It'll be fine. And that's what this has happened. And you've got this other NFT project with that babe. What's her name?
Oh, sorry, what was that? Scroll down again.
Oh, this is a PG show, Dan.
It's kind of like that's fine, you know. Like, and then the greatest meme of all time that will come out of crypto for 2023 is that, you know, like there were mistakes made. You know, mistakes were made with my wallet. Like, really? I'm just looking for the link now, but it's like
FTX upcoming listing pool party.
Oh my god, here we go. You see.
That's fucking hilarious. I don't fucking know. But what I'm trying to say is, like, don't raise millions of dollars and then dump the fucking 20% of the team supply immediately on the market 2 days after it's been live.
I just linked something in chat. So party's one thing, and then you've got this individual here who essentially, like, she's like an NFT scammer. She's done this kind of thing before. But just read this. This will blow your mind. There were mistakes made in a wallet that I controlled.
That happens to me every single day when I'm fucking
except you're not rugging a community, bro. That's the difference.
Mate, she is a...
No, she's a good looking girl, bro, but she uses that in order to do the nefarious things that she does. So she essentially scammed her whole community, and she'll continue doing it. I promise you, she'll end up doing this in 3 months.
Nobody cares. They're like, I got scammed. Who by Nicole Bremen? Oh my god, that's what they're going to be. This is what these dickheads are going to be like, isn't it? It's not like, you know, like us when we get rubbed, we're just like effing and blinded. We come up with all these like random swear words. They're like, yeah, Nicole Bremen, she rugged me, baby.
Grant,
yeah, they'll be sending more funds to our wallet. It's like a simple wallet.
Grant, just copy and paste. There were mistakes made in a wallet that I controlled and put it into search, and just check what comes out. It's just a beautiful thing.
My god, that's a slammer.
Whenever my wife asks where all our money went, there were mistakes made.
There were mistakes made in the dude.
It was like that Arbitrum, like the way they structured the verbiage on the Arbitrum fucking.
Correct. Clause. Exactly. It's the same thing, dude. It's like
sophisticated market actors, market makers. Just say what you mean, you fucking idiot.
Fuck. Then there's the meme. I scammed you. No. My wallet scammed you. Oh my goodness.
So, sushi. I was trying to relax on Sunday and got a message that sushi had been hacked and then shit myself. But all was okay. No one was caught up in it, were they?
No.
So none of you are seafood? No?
No.
I'm not the Fed, by the way. You can tell me if you are.
So sushi, so seafood lost 2 mil, or 3 mil?
3, I think it was, yeah.
And then someone made a comment, oh, it doesn't matter. He made himself 100 mil from Wonderland, so it doesn't matter. I'm like, of course it matters, bro. 3 million is 3 million. It matters.
Yeah. They got it back, though. This Fubag did a really, really good thread on it. I won't get into it because it's way too technical for my little brain, but basically the TLDR of it was the sushi aggregator contract that it was using to perform the swap. It says it doesn't check whether the callback caller was a V3 pool, just that it matched the original route. So effectively they implanted a fake contract there. So when he'd send funds to do whatever transaction it was, and he's had the funds stolen. But they've actually managed to recover them, which is kind of fucking mental. So Jared Gray, don't say it. We've confirmed recovery of more than 300 ETH from Coffee Babe of Seafood stolen funds. We're in contact with the larger team regarding 700 more ETH. And then there's like a nice tool. If you are a little bit concerned, and if you're hearing about this for the first time, again, just check the document below. It should have this link in it, and you can just paste your wallet in there just to check. But there's still people who haven't unrevoked it.
Sorry, Grant. I don't mean to interrupt there, but can we just like rewind 36 seconds? Contract was called Coffee Babe.
Coffee Babe, yeah. No, please don't say anything. That's not the name of a horse.
Sounds like it's running in the national.
Because I have just put it in Twitter, but
don't search that. That's not suitable for work.
it's not. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a fucking mad week, wasn't it? There was all sorts of shit that happened. This is like the most funny thing I've seen in a long time. CryptoGPT.
So they raised how much money?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Fuck it, I'll say it anyway. So they raised like this. Let me see if I can actually find it before we have a laugh at their bio. I mean, the name in and of itself, CryptoGPT, just like, I don't know. So raised funds at a 250 million valuation, which is like,
Jesus Christ.
They raised 10 million from DWF at a 250 million valuation, but only 420 grand of the total amount thus far has been invested by DWF. Make of that what you will. I don't think they'll get the 10 million, but that's all I'll say. So yeah, where the fuck's the website gone now?
I mean, it's almost like you've got to come up with the most elaborate scam in plain sight. Like it's almost like a prerequisite for some of these people. Like let me come up with the most elaborate scam that I could possibly think of, and then just openly tell people that it's a scam by not telling them that it's a scam. I mean, if you don't think that this is a scam, then there's a problem here.
The thing is, they're just playing the game. They're just playing the VC game, and whoever's stupid enough to fucking allocate it to them deserves to lose the money. But the problem is, as they're making it very, very abundantly clear, and this is like the biggest red flag there is, like, how many kind of prompts and kind of call to actions is there? Like, GPT is now live on Bitfinex, PancakeSwap, Bybit, Gate.io, Uniswap, Mexi, BitGet, Huobi. I wouldn't touch any of those exchanges with a fucking shitty stick, apart from Uniswap and PancakeSwap. But major red flags just like on the landing page. And if you do want to laugh, listen to this kind of hook or kind of brief that they've got. So AI revolution for billions of users. One, you don't have billions of users, so stop saying that. CryptoGPT is a ZK layer 2 that lets you own the monetization of your AI data, turn every task into your daily life into a source of income.
Yes.
If we go back to the Block article, which hopefully they haven't paid for the press release because I think a bit less of the Block. Yeah, so this is the sentence that just cracked me up. CryptoGPT is a zero knowledge layer 2 blockchain network attempting to leverage the success of artificial intelligence, announcing a 10 million Series A from DWF at 250 million. Like, how many buzzwords can you squeeze into one sentence? It's like playing buzzword bingo. So I don't know. It just fucking baffles me. But like, fair enough if you can pull it off. Like, I couldn't sleep at night personally, but like, fair fucks. Yano from Blockworks seems to think seems to think this guy isn't real. You can't find any.
Mate, that's like, deep fake. That is.
It does look it, doesn't it? Like, it does look a bit. And
this whole website is just absolutely.
But, like, I don't know. You know, you obviously shouldn't, like, you know, put people down on nothing. But those boys all look like fucking scammers.
In the spirit of not wanting to put people down, I completely agree with you.
Oh God! Why going to prison? No, but this is stay away from this kind of shit. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anywho, moving on. I feel like it's all bad news this week, which we need to stop saying it can't get any worse because it just seems to. So it was a big kind of event that happened in the MEV space, and there was a huge 20 million MEV bot that got sandwiched by itself, like sandwiched the sandwicher and MEV the MEV. So there was 20 million that got stole from an MEV bot, which I don't know how you what side you take, what stance you take on that, but it looks like immediately after, yeah, it's like they call it the dark forest, don't they? So immediately after, it looks like the wallet who has drained the MEV bot, Tether, have immediately blacklisted the 3 million. I hope this doesn't set a good precedent for. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to get into kind of censorship and stuff like that because I've said it a million times.
We've had this discussion before. This is a discussion we've had before, and we will continue to have it in terms of centralized bodies. Just kind of like, you know, you want this decentralized space, but then as soon as something happens, they blacklist. But why are they not blacklisting the MEV bots that are doing this stuff all the time? I don't understand it. Makes no sense.
Because there is good MEV. It's sometimes required, oftentimes required, to be fair, particularly with everything that's going on with proposed builder separation and all that kind of shit. But maybe we'll bring someone on to explain that a little bit better. Look what the account tagged as: Sandwich the Ripper.
That's epic. Oh, that's brilliant.
But yeah, that Tether's blacklisted. There's 14 million ETH in there, 2 million Bitcoin, and 1.7 million DAI, and not too much USDC. So they knew not to go with USDC, but then they've fucked it up a little bit with USDT blacklisting. In more positive news, I thought it was quite funny yesterday. It kind of shook me because I didn't realize what was happening, but it seems like public facing, there's a lot of projects that are starting to realize the power of Hero Network and leveraging its risk engine with dexterity and the pari-mutuels protocol and stuff like that. So obviously it's a meme coin, and I have no kind of dog in this fight, pardon the pun, but bonker bust, pari-mutuels bet on the future, like the future direction of an asset. So similar to how we did on Iconic Markets a couple of weeks back on the stream. So we'll go up, we'll go down. But this actually gets into, there's actually a fee share based on bonk or bust. So every time there's a trade that happens, a fee is taken, distributed towards hero stakers. So people are passively earning on top of other protocols because the underlying network is Hero Network. And then it also looks like they're going to release perpetuals, which will be like, if you can't get to like any more degenerate, then I don't know what perpetual meme coins is like, the kind of volumes that's going to bring in, the kind of fees that's going to bring in. So my max locked hero bags are very happy for this. And there are kind of murmurs of other projects looking at hero and thinking like, well, we've got a product, but we're not going to spend the best part of like 18 months and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars built in prediction markets and perps and shit like that. So pay close attention. Yes, it is a meme coin, but you know, is what it is.
It is a meme coin, but we've seen that meme coins just consistently do their thing, you know, like they just don't go away. And if you think that Bonk's going to go away, then you've got something coming. It's like,
do you know how many holders this has got?
250,000 wallets.
350.
350. Wow. That's more wallets than probably 99% of the fucking DeFi projects that we write and interview on a daily basis.
How have they got so many wallets so quick?
I think they did an airdrop to specific members, but like the active wallet account on the SolScan was continuing to increase. But it's people want to fucking gamble, don't they? That's all it is.
I mean, it's a really interesting. It's an interesting narrative because people like to make fun of it, like your DeFi purists. I mean, we were in a call with the founder yesterday, in fact, and he was just like, you know, what is this shit? And it's kind of like, dude, this shit is what people actually want. It's people want to gamble, people want to have fun, people want to detach themselves from the reality that they have subjected themselves to, and this is how they do it. It's really one of those outlets, and you can't fade it. And this is just another one of those things. That's why the Hero Network has always been, I mean, sure, we are sponsored by them, so I mean, take that into consideration. So there is going to be a certain amount of bias in what it is that we're saying here, but at the same time, they're building a network that facilitates this kind of thing. And it's, you know, if you look at the founders of Hero, they've come from a background where, you know, trading and essentially gambling on the stock market has been a very big part of their existence. Why? Because people have to do that. So it's just another derivation thereof, and this isn't going away. This is just going to become more and more prolific, and the space accommodates it, so why not?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next, because I know there's murmurs of the Degen Ape collaboration with Hero as well. So if they're going to spin out something, then it kind of forces other projects' hands as well that are in the Solana ecosystem to have their own in-house products as well, and if they want to kind of continue to leverage Hero. That's my idea around it. That's my thesis around it. I'm biased, so don't listen to me. So I had a demo of this yesterday. Which
what is this?
So did you ever use Bancor?
Yes, so that's a long time ago.
Yeah. Bancor was one of the original AMMs, and the problem they had was they tried too heavily to focus on impermanent loss protection, and they do this by effectively reimbursing like some aspects of the impermanent loss in their BNT token, which sounds fucking stupid now in hindsight, because when the markets continue to completely spiral out of control, more BNT was needed to be minted to kind of subsidize the losses. And they had like the Bancor V3, and then that kind of death spiral kind of got escalated. So they've kind of went away. They still need to make, they're like on a warpath to make everyone whole from that whole fiasco, and they're getting there. And the kind of the assets that they need to pay back, or the funds that they need to pay back, are at all-time low. So it's nice to see them moving in the right direction. Bancor is like a real OG DeFi product. So this is their new product. They're moving in the right direction with it. So it's not an AMM. It's more like an order book on chain, and it allows you to just set your buy and sell price ranges, or your buy range or your sell range. So you can have an individual price. So you could say like, what's ETH at now? Like 1900. You could say at 1800, buy me $1,000 worth of ETH for $10,000 worth of ETH. At $2,100, sell that ETH. Or you can say between 1800 and 1850, buy me $1,000 worth of ETH. Or at 2000 to 2050, sell that amount of ETH. So it's effectively, when all said and done, you've got hundreds and thousands of, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds and thousands of orders in this carbon product. It starts to just look more and more like an order book with limit orders, sell orders, range orders. It starts to look a bit like grid trading as well. So impressive. I say not an AMM, not kind of concentrated, kind of not, but definitely starts to look more like an order book on chain. So keep an eye on that because it's interesting. And this happened before we came on. I haven't had a chance to look into it, Dan. I don't know if you've seen what happened.
Like literally like 5 minutes before, I saw like a load of things. But basically, the guys managed to like exploit about just under 800 Ethereum so far.
And it's AAVE V1, isn't it? Not the V2 or V3 contracts.
V2 got affected as well.
Oh, did it? Shit. Dear. What's AAVE doing?
Pumping.
He says it casually. I love that. That's pumping.
It hasn't moved. It's most signs of life it's showed in fucking 8 months. Bullish hack. I bet YFI's got bad though. A little bit more so.
Remember when this thing was at 40 grand?
Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days.
They're coming.
Tapioca. Stage 2, the beta.
Yeah, beta 2. Dude, I was on their tap talk on Tuesday, and people were obviously testing this beta, the second version of the beta, and it's just like almost instant, like seconds. You know, like you can cross-chain borrow and lend within like a 10 to 20 second time frame across multiple chains. This thing is the bomb.
It's going to be so good. We're going to be releasing a short series of like bite-sized articles, so literally take you a minute or two to read, just on different aspects of the protocol. The first one's starting on Yieldbox, which is some of the underlying tech that is licensed to Tapioca. So just to break it down, because the last one we released was 35 pages. So there's been like 3,500 people who read that as well, which is great. So when people say there's no attention span in crypto, they're lying. But yeah, we'll do some bite-sized stuff just for people, because there has been kind of a bit of feedback saying there are aspects of it that are quite confusing, and it's because it's innovative and novel, and it'll probably just be a mainstay of DeFi, because everyone's going to fork it or try fork it. There's aspects that can't be forked, which is good. But like their innovations on the O tokens and a lot
their
of
competitors have already tried to fork and have failed. So there's a number of guys out there that claim to be Omni that have tried, but because Yieldbox particularly and Cashy are under license, that aspect is very difficult to replicate unless you go and build your own version of it. But that's, like you referred to it earlier, hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of development time in order to get anything close to it. So I think that we'll see a bit of. But then by the time that comes out, I'm pretty sure that this crew, Matt and his crew, will have come out with their own thing. I mean, I think there was even a discussion on Tap Talk. You know what? We're seeing challenges within the layer zero layer 0 protocol, and we're thinking maybe we should just build our own equivalent thereof.
Oh God!
Take that with whatever you want. So, yeah.
I'm so excited for it to be rolled out and just see the developments of it, because this is like phase 0.0001. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
I think, the thing, like one of the pennies that dropped for me on this thing is, and there'll be many more to come, is just the importance of, having a true decentralized and, more importantly, collateralized stablecoin. Because at the moment, even the successful ones, the algo stablecoins like Frax, they're still backed by USDC. They're still backed by central bodies, and this is fine. There's nothing, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but we need options. We need options that allow us to choose a spread. Like, do you want a completely decentralized option? Well, this is it. Is it going to land up? And you asked the question in Twitter, I think this morning or last night, where you said, do LSDs become an underlying, like, valued collateralized asset that can then be used in order to collateralize, stable coins, as opposed to USDC or USDT or one of the centralized, stable coins presently? And I would like to answer that question on stream and say definitely. 100%. That's where it's all going to go. And what we're seeing right now, if we're going to look into the future of what's going on here, is that these guys with USD0 are essentially setting it up for that very dynamic to come into play, which is very exciting. I mean, it's wonderful, because that's what we need. This is exactly what we need.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, I'm just looking for it. Like,
can you borrow 100 mil? Let's go Ireland and guys and dancing girls. Do what Kyle and Susie couldn't get right.
Testnet ETH still 3,000. Fucking hell. Something a little bit adjacent, but definitely worth noting, because there's a lot of people who listen that have got their own newsletter on Substack. So there's definitely a butt of heads happening at the minute between Substack and Twitter. So if you're worried about reach, then we'd kind of suggest having a look at Beehive, because we couldn't say anything better about the team over there that have helped us kind of onboard and the migration, and just basically helping us scale the whole thing. So, but what's happened effectively is, I think Elon joked about buying Substack, and then Substack have effectively created this like fucking BSC fork of Twitter. So now that if you're trying to share a Substack link, you get kind of censored and downvotes, or not downvotes, like decreases your reach. And it also, if you click on the link, Twitter flags it as a potentially harmful link. So there's a bit of kind of Elon petulance coming through, and Substack going to war with them, which we all know how this typically ends. So if you are looking, we'll leave our link to, like, our ref link for Beehive below. We have said we're not doing that as a financial motive. If we do make any money from that, we'll just give it away or something. But yeah, Dan, I don't know if you have any points on that, because you're balls deep in the newsletter, aren't you? So
yeah, I do first want to say, because when I made a post about Beehive a few weeks ago, and there's a few like proper Substack maxis that just like absolutely came at me. I'm like, bro, I'm a Substack maxi as well, because when we used it for like over 6 months, it is generally a fantastic platform. And again, I couldn't speak any more highly of it, but we switched over to Beehive for more analytics, and then just to see how we can grow a faster, smarter, better rate. And honestly, like, I love Beehive. It looks cool, it feels cool, and like the community behind the scenes is growing very, very fast, especially in the crypto world. So yeah, if you want to find out more, you can always just slip into the DMs and have a chat. But it's seamless.
Sweet. Anything else you want to cover?
Just in terms of this whole dynamic around, restricting links and all the rest of it from Twitter, Substack, and the rest of it, I see that as a negative, overall. From, like, once again, coming back to this this whole thing around centralized bodies kind of dictating their own principles and ideas. And as much as like Elon has been a great positive aspect, I think this is negative. I think it's like a really bad thing. It's essentially saying like, we don't like the competition, and because I don't agree with you, I'm just gonna like throw my toys out the cot and do what I need to do, and it's like, I really struggle with that, because we need to be in a space where if I want to link Substack and Twitter, I should be allowed to do that. I'm not promoting hate speech. I'm not promoting, questionable narratives here. So why restrict me? Why? Because you don't like Substack? That's just bullshit. I think it comes back to that discussion that we had with Dan Hughes from Radix, where he actually managed to take Twitter on chain. So he took the whole Radix model. He used, I think, one of the Babylon, because they're about to launch Babylon. Actually, that's actually a bit of interesting news. Is like, people were asking me yesterday, why is XRD pumping? Well, it's pumping because Radix are about to launch Babylon. What's Babylon? Babylon is the commercial product that these guys have been developing for the last 10 years. Like back in his basement. I think Dan's still in his basement. But, Dan was like, I want to build an ecosystem and a blockchain that is scalable. And the only way that we can do that is in terms of what Radix is. I mean, we've written about Radix. I mean, look at that chart. If that chart doesn't turn you on, and I don't think any chart ever will, this is a great opportunity. I think this thing, even at its highs, was hugely undervalued. And I think, this is an ecosystem that can scale. Anyway, so he took the whole Twitter thing and he put it on chain, and I think he still is. It works, like you can take Twitter, replicate Twitter in its current form and take it on chain and make it completely decentralized. So you know what, Elon, Twitter, you guys aren't safe. You might have the users, but decentralization is coming, and you can't just willy-nilly like restrict people from pasting a link, for goodness sakes. Come on.
Yeah. Especially when he took it over and said it was going to be a free town hall or town square or whatever. Just, I don't fucking know.
I think Radix is a great play, guys. Radix is a great play for the medium to long term, particularly the long term. I like what Radix has done. We've written about Radix before. Go and read the article. It's on our website if you want to know what it is.
Yep. I've just seen this pop up. Twitter partners with eToro to let users trade stocks, crypto, as Musk pushes app into finance.
They should definitely go on with Robinhood.
Is that why everything's pumping?
Probably.
Fuck.
Everything is pumping at the moment. It's like we had a red day yesterday. Let's have a green day, and so on and so forth. Just make sure you don't get caught on the wrong side of it.
All right, that it for this week. That was a lot. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, and guys, just from our side, from Blockmater's side, we're in the process of essentially concluding our new website. That's coming in the next few weeks. It's going to be very different to what it is that we've currently got. I mean, we're not taking anything away. We're just adding a whole lot. Grant has expressed his disgust and disappointment in the poor levels of news reporting that we've seen in the space, particularly over the last 2 weeks. And I think it's become his mission now in life to actually put out credible information when it happens. And if it isn't credible, to actually apologize and take it down, unlike other publications that just like to keep it up because it was a great clickbait opportunity for them. But we are not going to subscribe to those tactics. So keep your eyes open. Please like and subscribe this video. Even if you didn't like it, just send me a message and I'll send you a coupon for a beer. How's that? Does that sound good? Watch me get completely inundated.
Perfect.
Throw me a beer, bro. I'd like to subscribe.
Yeah. If anyone's listening who does have a background in journalism or news writing and is heavily in the crypto industry as well, there'll be a role going up on our job site. So keep an eye on that. Should be going live this week. We need all stars. We can't have people learning on the job for this kind of stuff. It's really, really important. So please just follow the links. I won't be accepting any that come through messages because my messages are a joke as it is. But yeah, if you want to have a look at that, just follow the Twitter and you should see it get posted live. But yeah, that's it for this week, and we'll speak to you next time. See ya.